Okay, hi. Today we are going to do Leetcode number 49, and let's read the question. So it will give us an array of strings called strs, and we have to group them together, and we can return the answer in any order. So let's take a look at the example. First of all, the input is a list of strings like this, and the output is we group those strings into multiple groups, and inside a group the combination should be the same. For example, NAT and TAN are both using the exact same alphabet to form a string, right? So these two are going to be in the same group, and ATE, EAT, and TEA, 8ET, these three are also using the exact same alphabet to form a string. So these three are considered as in the same group. And since BAT is the only one who use B, A, and T to form a string, so BAT will be the only member of its group. And yeah, let's skip the explanation here since we already looked through the entire example. And we can see that if the string is empty, we have to treat it like it's an empty string and a group that's only contain these empty strings. Okay, and yeah, if we only have one string inside the list, we also need to form it as a one element list. Okay, and let's take a look at the constraints. So here are some strings length constraint and list length constraints. Right now we don't have to care too much about this because we probably don't need to deal with these two constraints right now. And each alphabet inside, or each string inside the list, it's a lowercase English letter. So we don't need to implement the uppercase and lowercase detection or transfer to uppercase or lowercase. Yeah, so that's the entire question. Okay, and right now I have two solution in my head. There's multiple solution, I think. One is to maybe create a hash map that use these three alphabet or character as the key of the hash map, and we should push the entire string into as the element and into the value of this key. So what I mean is, maybe it's like since we already knew that we will have a T and maybe like 10. Let's take a look at these three right now, and let's come up a little bit. Okay, so these three are the example that I'm using right now, and as we can see, these two are in the same group, right? Because they all use the exact same combination of the, not combination, the exact same element that to form these two strings. So what I'm saying is we should use like a hash map. Let's say it's using like maybe like EAT, and it will contain like EAT and TEA, T, and the other one should be this, and okay, so this is what I'm saying, and but this we're going to have a issue. It's how do we know that TEA should put inside this value, or how TEA can convert into a value of this key. So probably we will have also multiple implementation, like we can sort the string like EAT and TEA. After sorting these, EAT will be like AET, because the alphabet sorting will comes out these kinds of result. And this is TEA. Okay, TEA will also becomes AET, and we can use these strings as the key of the hash map, right? And we can push these two value into as the value of this key. So here, this is one implementation I'm thinking right now. So this is one, and I also have another implementation. It's I see this solution in maybe like in another question on Leetcode. So basically, the whole idea is we create a list. It's like something like this. So it's a list that all the element is zeros, and the length of the list is 26. So which means this list will going to include all of the alphabet that exist in the strings. Like this is going to be the times that A is showing in the list. This is B, this is C, and this is Z. And also in this question we won't need to deal with uppercase and lowercase, so we can assume that these are all lowercase. Yeah, we should treat them like lowercase. Okay, and by doing this, we can use this as the key of the hash map, because EAT and TEA were going to have to share the same list, right? Because they all can include only E, A, and T. So the A should be 1, the E should be 1, and the T should also be 1. And also there is still a lot of elements going on, and ends with 0Z in it. So this is A, this is E, this is T. And both eat and T, we're going to share this exact same list. So we can use this list as the key of the hash map. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, but there's also an issue, which is a list cannot be the key of the hash map. So we'll have to turn it into a tuple. A tuple is a data structure that very similar to list. It also contains a bunch of numbers or values, and we can also use like the index to get which one we want to use or select. But the main difference is a tuple, we cannot modify the value or element in it. So like let's say there's a tuple with 1, 2, and 3. We cannot change this into maybe like 2, 2, and 3. We cannot do that. Okay. So basically this is my solution right now, or maybe concept right now. The plan is to first we're going to get the key. We can use these two different methods to get the key, and we push the string into the maybe like the hash map of the key. So by before we do this, we will have to make sure that all of the value in the hash map is setting to a empty list as default. Because if we don't do this, we cannot push, or in Python we'll use append. We cannot do this to a non-list variable. So this is the second things we need to do. And the third thing is we have to return the answer, right? So basically after we finish these two steps, we will have a list or maybe hash map. Oh yeah, it's a hash map that contain a tuple of numbers. Let's just write something down, and this tuple is the key of something like EAT, TEA, and there's another tuple, and the value of it is like TAN. So what we really need is to return the value of these, of each instance inside this dictionary or hash map. So we could just return the values of the hash map. So hash maps, maybe we can use like dot value. Okay, so this should return the value of the hash maps. Okay, so let's try to implement the code of it. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, well, this is like way too big. Okay, maybe like this. So we will need to have a hash map. Or maybe we should have a list first. So this list is to store the 26 zero value. So maybe like alphabet. Let's just call it alphabet or alpha, maybe. Or maybe characters. Characters is equal to 0 times 26. So this will get us a list of 0 that the length is 26. We'll have to create a hash map to use these characters as key and store the value of the answer. So in order to use a list as a default value, we'll have to import something called collection import default dict, maybe like this, I believe. And we will have to like create a new dictionary that the default value is list. So this hash map is a default dict, which the default value is a list. Okay. And now we can run through the list, the strings, all of the strings, and let's calculate the exact characters of it and push them into the hash map. So first, let's run a for loop called the s inside strings. Let me think. Okay, so apparently we will have to run a nested loop, right? Because this will going to get us like the EAT, ETA, TEA, and TN, for example. But we'll also have to run through each string inside the STRS list. So we'll have to run another for loop inside the current string, and let's calculate the character list of it. Okay, so we'll have to know which position we are going to add. So we'll have to get the order of the current character and minus the order of A. And if you like remember the order of A in ASCII code, you can just write down as an integer. So this will going to be this, and add 1 in each character's position. So after that, we will have a list with the frequency of the character showing up maybe, and we should use that as the top, as the key we need to push into the hash map. So hash map dot append, we have to use it, we have to use a tuple like as the key, and like this, and append the current string as a value. And we also need to reset the character. So maybe we don't define it at the top of the code, we define it in here. So in each round we will have a fresh characters list right here, and last we will have to return the answer. The answer should be all of the value inside this hash map. So it should be hash map dot values like this. Okay, so maybe we can try to run the code. Okay, let me see. We'll have a arrow right here. It's not valid for extent type list string. So the return type is off. It says the return is like this. Oh, it's the dict values, so we have to like transfer it into a, let me see, we have to make it as a list, not a dict values. So the type it's not the output type that we are looking for, so we should just do like this to convert it into a list type. Okay, and we'll get our result. Test result is fine, and we should submit it. Okay, and we'll get our accepted result. And let's do a little time complexity and space complexity analysis. So let's take a look at our code right here. So basically the time complexity, let me see, in this loop, if the length is of list strings it's n, it's going to be a O of n, right? Just running list. And inside these little strings, or the string inside the list, we will get O of, let's say the list, or the length of the string inside this list is k, so it's a O of k time complexity of this list loop. So the time complexity, the time complexity should be, let me see. So we only run these two for loops, so it should times together. So the entire time complexity should be O of n times k. Okay, and the space complexity, we're going to need a helper to help us store the dictionary that we are using, and this size will be, let's say the size of list strings or list is also n, so these two will almost be the same size, so the time complexity should be O of n. But if we want to use, if we also want to calculate the, oh no, maybe we don't have to like concern about this space, is because this will always be a 0 times 26 size. It's a const size of this variable, so we don't have to check on that. So the space complexity should be only big O of n. So these two should be our analysis result. Okay, and that is how you solve the grouping problem of Leetcode number 49.